Hey everybody, it's Infinite Drift and welcome back to the Survival Let's Play series. In the last episode, we built this cozy barn for our cows, and honestly, I think they're still enjoying it. Now, in today's episode, I want to get started on a little bit of a bigger project. And by that, I mean I want to start the beginnings of villager trading. We have really good diamond armor and tools right now, however, I think the enchantments on them could be a little bit better. And the best way to get better enchantments for your gear, of course, is to trade with villagers and get better enchantment books. So we're going to start today's episode off actually by building a villager breeder. Now we actually have most of the components that we need for a villager breeder, however there's one key ingredient that I'm missing in order to make sticky pistons. And I think you all know what the answer to that is. We need slime. And since I don't think I've come across any slimes in any of the caves around me, that means I have to travel to the swamp in order to get some. So with that, let's set out on a little adventure to the swamp biome and gather as much slime as we can. And of course, since we're going by boat, we all know that Tony's gonna be my guide here. But before we head out, let's of course sleep quickly to avoid any mobs. Alright, we got Tony in the back seat and off we go. Alright, so we arrived at the swamp and all we have to do now is, unfortunately, wait until it gets dark so the slimes spawn. I don't like the dark. And I guess while we're here, we might as well collect some vines and other things that we might need for our builds, because it's always helpful to have an abundance of materials like these, especially for decorating our base. Oh no, I forgot that this outpost is here, and one of them's kind of hanging out right behind me. I'm just gonna do my best to kind of like steer clear of that. Pick some of these flowers, gather some more vines, dead bushes, definitely. Get some mushrooms, why not? Ooh, and there's a shipwreck here. Awesome. Well, we have a lot of time to kill before it's nighttime, so I say we jump down and see what's in there. Oop. What treasures are in here? Ooh, here we go. What's in here? Bunch of books, buried treasure map, nice, and some paper. Awesome. Is there anything else? I don't think so. There's usually just one chest in here, right? Oh wait, nope, there's one here too. Leather cap, ooh, some TNT, nice. And suspicious stew. You know I'll be taking that. Alright, I think that's everything. So let's head back up. I actually have another buried treasure map from I think the last shipwreck that we found on land. I haven't done either of them yet though, so I think we're gonna have to get to that soon. Alright, looks like it's starting to get dark. I'm really hoping that these slimes actually spawn. Oh, there's one. Okay, perfect. I gotta be careful because there's tons of mobs around here, but at least the slimes are spawning. I see them off in the distance over there. Alright, slimes, where you at? Oh gosh, there's a lot going on here. Tons of spiders, skeletons. I did see a few creepers. Yep, there's one. Oh no. Where'd the slime go? I've been lured. Oh no. I just revealed a giant cave by doing that. Oh my gosh, it's huge. Where'd that slime go though? How? There was literally one here like a minute ago, and now it's just like regular mobs. Oh no, and a witch. Come on. Oh no. Oh no. Do not. Don't. No. 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 Oh no. Okay, I need to eat something. Oh, this is bad. Oh! Oh no, baby zombie. Oh, terrifying. Go away. No, please, please. Oh my gosh, I might die. I might die. Okay, I need to eat something. Whew. Wow, this poison do be hitting me. Am I going to survive this? I don't know. Okay, we're good, we're good. This is just pure chaos and destruction. Oh no! There's so many creepers everywhere. 2 creepers, great. Oh, 3! Oh no, 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 no! Oh, no! This is a nightmare. I just go, yeah. Yeah, this place is just gonna be creeper holes everywhere. Ah, they're fighting each other. Thanks. I'm just gonna... Oop. Is that one over there? That's one. That's one. I'm determined. I gotta go. I gotta go. Oh yeah, look at this. This is Slime City. I'm gonna go for the big slime boy. Come here. There we go. Okay, okay. We got this. Yes! Okay, we got some slime. We got some slime. Everything's good here. Except for the fact that there are mobs just everywhere. We can handle this, though. Okay, okay. We got ourselves some slime. We have 11 so far, and I think that's probably enough, but I'm just gonna collect as much as I can. Hey, notice me. Yes. Yes, you. Come here. Come here. Oh, one more. Alright, the sun is rising, so I think that's pretty much all that we're gonna get out of this for the most part. I honestly really did a number on this place. I mean, there are literally creeper explosions everywhere. Look how many there are. Ooh, gunpowder. I may not have done the best job defending myself out there, but you know what? I got the slimes, and I think that's all that counts. Tony, I am so happy to see you. You have no idea what I went through. All right, now that we've got what we came for, I think it's time for us to head out and build our villager breeder. Easiest way to tell that we've made it back home is the abundance of bees. I think one of my next tasks is definitely to build a bee sanctuary. It's only right. Alright, now that we're back from our slime gathering adventure, it's time for us to actually build the automated villager breeder. Now, I really don't know anything about automated systems or redstone or anything. I'm still definitely learning all of that stuff, so I will be using a tutorial by Logical Geek Boy to help me build this. And of course, if you all want to build the same type of automated system, I'll provide the link below in my description so you all can check out the video done by him. Alright, and with that, let's get to it. So this build is going to require quite a bit of space, especially because the farm itself takes up space, but I want to do my own type of build around it to kind of conceal the redstone and like working components of all of it, and just make it look like it fits in theme with the rest of our builds. And I was thinking this open space right over here would be perfect for the villager breeder, especially because we have the village close by over here, and right behind us you can see our bases right there. So let's spend some time evening out the land so we have a good amount of space to work with. Alright, I cleared out a giant chunk of this land, probably a lot more than I should have, but I just wanted to give myself all of the space I needed, and honestly I really like this area anyway. I think it's got like a great view of the ocean and all of that stuff, so maybe we can build other stuff around here that's kind of relevant to the villager breeding area. So to start things off, we need a 9x9 area for our crops, and the way I'm going to mark this out is I'm going to place an 11x11 square with pillars, and the reason I'm doing this is I'm going to be enclosing this area anyway, so this will just mark out the perfect 9x9 square for us. So next we're just going to go ahead and take out the exact center point of the 9x9 square and fill it with a stair and water, and then we're just going to place our composter over top of it. So then we just have to raise these pillars by one more block, so they are 2 blocks high, and in the center point I'm going to put an extra pillar here just all the way around. So now pretty much what we just have to do is we are going to line this with glass blocks just all the way around, and I took out the pillar right here because we're going to need an opening for the villagers to come out of. Alright, with the basic structure laid out, it's now time for probably the worst part of this, which is bringing the villagers from the village over to this spot. Alright, I've got 2 boats ready to go, so let's go to the village and go pick up some villagers. Alright, I think I'm going to build a little bit of like a dirt bridge, so it's a little bit easier for me to boat my villagers over and onto the land. And I think this should be good. Let's try to get this guy. You stay here. No. Come on. Yes! Oh, it worked. It worked. Okay. All right, so we've got one. All right, let's see if we can get this guy. Yo, I have something really cool to show you over here. Come here. Come on. Don't you want to see this boat? It's the Boatmaster 5000. Come take a look. Come on. It's yours if you want it. Yeah! Okay, so we've got another one. So let's try to focus on getting this guy safely over to the bridge. All right, let's break some of this up and just give ourselves a little bit of a wider path to avoid any potential disaster. And we will drop him over here for now. All right, success. First villager on their way to our breeder. All right, so I thought this one would be a lost cause, but not really actually. What I can just do is kind of carve out a little piece over here that'll just directly shoot us down here, and we should be good. All right, second villager acquired, and we will just drop them right here. Got ourselves 2 villagers, which was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. All right, so now the trick is gonna be to get them up this incline. So basically I'm just trying to make a dirt tunnel that they can walk through that they can't escape, so I just have to make sure that the blocks are high enough, and I think 2 to 3 blocks should do it. That should be okay. All right, so the villager breeders right here. I'm gonna stop right here and see if they can walk up on their own, and if all goes well, we are very close to getting them where we need to be. All right, let's see if this works. First villager over here, it's all good. All right, second villager is here at the beginning of our tunnel. So I'm just gonna block this area off just as much as I can. I really don't want them escaping. And I think the thing with villagers is that they want to find a bed at night. So what I'm gonna do is to get them up here and to stay here is I'm gonna put 2 beds right here that they should be drawn to. So when nighttime falls, they should want to go up to these beds, and then after that, all I have to worry about is getting them from these beds to the spawner. All right, I'm just gonna light this up. I'm a little bit worried about this because of mob spawning, but I think this is probably the best solution for this. So let's break the boats. Don't you want to move? Please do something. The sun's setting. No, over here. There's beds. There's beds. Look, it's working. All right, I just need to block off this area and we're good. Oh, really awkward timing. Hello. Look, it worked. It worked. Okay. I'm gonna go to bed because I'm scared. There's a lot of mobs, especially in this open area. It's like prime spot for them to spawn. All right, I'm gonna sleep far away from my villagers and hopefully there aren't too many mobs around there when I go back, but the damage may have already been done. Let's sleep. All right, mobs seem to be gone for the most part. I think we're in the clear here. Hey buddies, I'm gonna break the bed, so taking up a little bit of space. Okay. Villager 1 and Villager 2. Come on. No. You go in this one. This one. Yeah, it worked. Okay, perfect. All right, I think we're nearly done carting them over. And honestly, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. You stay here. And now it is your turn. Look at this. Everything's going smoothly. This is so nice. All right, second villager. Time for you to hang out here. And we will close this off really quickly. All right, so I'm just going to break this pretty quickly. And let's see if I can get them in there. There we go. Perfect. So I'm just gonna put this back. No, you can't escape. And I just gotta get the trapdoor back. Can't forget that because that's actually like very important for the build itself. And they're chilling in there now, which is really good. So now we don't need the beds anymore. We can get rid of them for now. And I'm basically just gonna start tilling all the land and we'll start planting carrots here. And apparently if we don't have enough carrots, that's fine because the farmer should realistically start farming them. So we'll just plant out as many as we have. And awesome, this villager took on the role of the farmer, so we're all good. All right, so the whole entire farm has been filled out behind me. So hopefully the villagers actually start taking the carrots and keeping them for themselves, and with that they will start breeding. Pretty much all I have to do is stand here and wait and see if that happens, and if it doesn't, it means I did something wrong and I need to figure it out. Come on, this has got to be enough carrots for you. Take them. Oh, okay, something might be happening here. Okay, they're sharing food. That's really good. Yes, it happened. It worked. Okay, it worked. Whew, I was starting to get nervous because this had taken a long time. Okay, let me peace on out of here. Oh, I hear it. I hear the baby villager. Oh, it works. Okay. This is good. So basically, yep. It's working. Yes! Oh no! I am so happy. It took me so long. And now we got ourselves the first villager for our villager trading. Alright, so I waited around for a bit just to see what would happen and make sure everything's working correctly. And once the villager grew, he popped into this area and now he is ready to be carted off into this little dirt structure behind me and taken to wherever the villager needs to go. And as you can see, we already have another small villager right here ready to grow up. Get funneled right into here. This feels very, very wrong, honestly. I feel kind of bad, but at least we're gonna get lots and lots of villagers out of this, and you know what? I promise we will give them good homes. So yeah, for anybody looking to build a villager breeder, I really highly recommend Logical Geek Boys. Like I said before, I'll include the link in the description. It was really easy to follow, really easy to set up. Trust me, I'm not good at automation as well, and I managed to figure it out quite nicely. Alright, so now that we have the actual breeder itself built, I think it's time that we build structures around it to make it fit in theme with our area. This one is actually going to be quite a big challenge to make because there's so many working components here. You can see we have a few structures to work with. So basically what we're kind of turning this area into is like a cute little village. Now this build is going to require a lot of resources. So with that, let's go gather some of the things we need and we'll come back and start building. Now we always have a bit of these materials hanging out in our storage, but this is going to be a pretty big build, so it's good just to gather a little bit extra so we're not going to be running back and forth. So we'll gather some extra spruce, we'll gather some more dark oak, and we're definitely going to be needing quite a bit of regular oak for this build as well. And while we're at it, it's definitely worth gathering some leaves, because we always need leaves in my builds. It's very essential. And let's grab some clay for this build as well, because we're definitely going to need some brick, and we'll put the rest of our stuff away. So I already already had a little bit of a collection ready to go for my storage, thankfully, so we didn't have to gather that much more, but I just wanted to make sure all my bases are covered, so we're not really running back and forth. But these are the main materials that we are essentially going to be using for the base of our builds. So now that we have all of our materials ready, we are going to start off by working on this structure behind us. This one is going to end up being the focal point of the build because it is going to end up being the biggest structure of them all. So we're going to start off by carefully removing all of these pieces of glass and replacing them with stone. And just be careful to not let your villagers escape, especially when you get to pieces right here, because they can definitely jump up. So now that the glass has been turned into stone, we're just going to take out these middle pieces of spruce and replace them with stone as well, but we are going to keep the stone columns right here and just strip them. And don't forget to place torches back in your area just in case. So now that that's done, you should have a perfect square of stone and spruce all around the edges that should look something like this. Now I know building things in a perfect square can look kind of awkward and clunky, so we're going to add something to the design later on to kind of make it more of a rectangular shape. But for now, we're just going to focus on building up the initial base behind us. So the next thing we're going to do for this build is build up this wall 2 more blocks high for a total of 4 blocks in height. And once your stone walls have been built, we are going to place a spruce crossbeam all the way across on every side of the build. And once you're done building the spruce beam, just strip all of the wood. And after that, you should have your structure looking something like this, with 4 blocks of stone and a spruce crossbeam going over top like this. And once you're done with the initial structure, you can add texture to your walls. I'm going to be using stone bricks mixed in with some cracked stone brick and mossy stone brick. Alright, with the textured wall done behind us, we are going to move on to the top half of the build. Now I mentioned before that working with a perfect square can kind of make the build look a little bit clunky. So to elongate the shape so we have more of a rectangular shape on the top part of the build, we're going to add upside down stairs to these parts of the columns right here and upside down stairs on the opposite side of the build. So it should look something like this. And now from here, instead of continuing the columns from this block where they originally were, we're going to place the columns here so we can extend the build and have more of a rectangular shape. And we're going to build these columns up by 4 blocks. And then once you're done placing them, you can strip each column. So now you can see we end up with more of a rectangular shape, at least for the top half of our build, which I think will really make it look a lot less clunky. So the walls for the second floor are going to be made out of stripped oak, which we'll texturize with oak planks afterwards. And when we get to this part of the wall with the cross beams that jut out by 1 block, we're actually going to continue building the oak wall along the cross beam itself, because we're going to be using these supports next to it to place more spruce cross beams. So now our shape should look something like this. So on the rectangular side of the wall on the 6th block in, we're just going to replace this part with spruce and we're going to strip it. So that will just create a support column and divide that half of the wall up really nicely. And from here we can pop out some windows, place an upside down stair if you want. I just really like the shape like that. Pop in some window panes, and from there we can pop out pieces of wood to add texture just by replacing it with oak planks or the occasional sideways stripped oak. And we're just going to do the same thing for the piece behind me and also the other side of the building. So now that we have the walls of the long part of the build done, we're going to move on to this portion of the build. So we're going to have beams sticking out of this build kind of matching up with these ones, but for the bottom part we're going to add a little bit of a support structure using planks and upside down stairs. So we're going to drop a stair right here in the middle, move back to a plank, have 2 upside down stairs here and another plank to finish it off. So right in the middle of the build where we have this upside down stair right here, we're going to add a support column right in the middle here, and we're just going to bring it up by 1 more block because we are going to end up building beams all the way across here. And we're just going to strip it. And since there's 4 blocks in between each column, we're actually going to make a double window right here, placing upside down stairs on the top and glass panes on the bottom. And we're just going to do that for this side as well. And now we can go ahead and also add some texture to these walls. And they're going to look a little something like this. And once we're done with that, we can start adding cross beams along the top, which will essentially close off the top half of this build and make it feel more complete. And now we're just going to do the exact same thing to this side of the build, and we'll be done with this portion of it. Alright, and before we get started on the roof, we're just going to extend the ledge out, kind of following a similar pattern like we have for the other part of the wall, except we're just going to have the upside down stairs going in between the middle points of the windows and underneath the support column. So it's going to look something like this all the way around. Alright, and with the base of our structure mostly done, it is now time for the biggest part, which is the roof. So this is going to be a really tall roof. So we're basically gonna start at one block underneath the support beam right here. And we're gonna start off by using a right side up stair right here, an upside down stair. And I want this roof to have a lot of height to it. So in order to achieve that, we're gonna use 2 oak planks going up like this, place a slab, go up by 1 plank, place another slab, go up by 2 planks again to really add that height, attach it with a slab, alternate back to 1 plank, slab here, and then we're going to go up by 3 planks right here, and right at the top here we're going to try to place an upside down stair like this because it's the middle point, and I just want a little bit of definition to the top there. And then on top of that we're going to place 2 blocks. So you can already see how steep it is with me kind of climbing down, and we're just going to fill it out the exact same way on this side. And as you can see, using the planks instead of something like stairs or slabs, and especially having them go up by 2 or 3 instead of 1 plank, it adds a lot of height to the build. So I really like it. Alright, so let's spend some time building out the frame on the other side and connecting it all with deep slate in the middle. So along the edges, I basically did the same design that I usually do, alternating between right side up and upside down stairs. So for the top part of this build, we ended up having to take out the cross beam along here, just so we could put down deep slate bricks so it connects to the roof properly. And from there we just continued filling in our roof with deep slate bricks. So after we finished our roof design, we completed the structure by filling in the space in between the roof at the front of the house. And this is the main structure that we have ended up with. And I'm really happy with it. However, I'm going to make one slight adjustment to the roof. Now, because the peak of the roof is so steep, we're left with a really tall roof piece like this. And I just want to do some things to kind of soften it a little bit. So we're going to start just by chipping away pieces right here. And that leaves these pieces partially exposed, so we just need to replace them with deep slate. And we might as well fill this middle part in all the way across, because what we're going to do is we're just going to add a half slab here and a half slab here. So you can see that now there's a gentle fall off right here, and it gives a little bit more shape to this otherwise very clunky looking roof on the side here. And for the top part, we're going to take out all of this, place a half slab here like before, another one here, and we're going to leave this brick right here, take all of these out, leave this one right here, and from here we're going to alternate between deep slate brick wall and dark oak fence gates. And we're just going to do that all the way across until we reach the other end. And to add a little bit of extra detail, we're going to alternate by adding a copper lightning rod on top of here, iron bar here, and just alternating back and forth until we reach the last brick wall. So now you can see the roof has a little bit more shape to it up at the top, and we also have placed a couple more items at the top which really give a little bit more visual interest, but also really complement the color palette on top of the roof. I really like this design. So I finished off the remainder of the build by decorating the exterior with a bunch of leaves to give it more of an organic shape. I added lighting, chests, barrels, and on the side of the build, I built a little bit of a faux entrance to add a little bit of shape and dimension to that side of the wall. So the first structural change of our villager breeder is complete, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out, honestly. It was a little bit of a challenge to work with because it was such an awkward shape, but once I figured out how to change up the dimensions and what type of roof to use, I think it all turned out really well and it all fits together. And honestly, I think it hides the villager breeder really nicely. So we have 2 more structures to kind of work through for this build in order for it to be complete. Now the remaining structures are going to keep in theme with the one that we just built. So since I walked you all through the shape, the roof design, the palette, and all of that stuff with this build, I think we're going to hop into a quick time lapse for the remainder of this little village that we've created, and we'll see what we end up with. Alright, the remaining structures are built, all the landscaping and decorating is done, and I would say that this build is sufficiently complete. And honestly, I am so happy with the way that it turned out. This might actually be one of my favorite builds that I have ever done. It was a really big challenge working with a pre-existing structure that was pretty awkward in shape, and I had a ton of fun challenging myself coming up with ways to transform this breeder into structures that would fit in theme with our world. And I want to give a really big shout out to my buddy Blockdown Builds. He let me come to him for advice on design choices and helped me come up with some great solutions. I've dropped the link to his channel in my description, and go check him out because he is an incredible builder. So with that, let's run through this build that we just completed. So there is a little bit of decorating that we have to do around the actual structures still. We have a vast open space, but that's a good thing because we have so much space to work with, and I'm thinking that we should turn this whole area into sort of a village where we can build separate structures for our villagers depending on their jobs, and we can trade with them. So yeah, like I said before, this initial structure was a little bit awkward to work with because it was a square shape, so I basically just elongated it into more of a rectangular shape just so it didn't look as clunky. And to help with the clunkiness of the build, I added a really steep roof. Like this thing is pretty massive, but honestly I think it really complements the bottom half of the build, especially because for the roof I chose a really dark palette, and I think that contrasts really nicely with all of the lighter blocks that we have going on underneath here. And then once you pair that with honestly like greenery and like the color of the pots and the chests, I find that these colors all complement each other very, very well. So I'm really happy with this structure for sure. And going around the side, I added just a little bit of an entrance to this side of the build, and I put a faux entrance here because it makes sense for a building to have an entrance. But also I find that this side of the wall needed a little bit of shape because it was really flat looking. So bringing it out by a couple blocks at the bottom and adding in a little bit of a roof and stuff really helps add a little bit of shape to this area. So moving on to the build behind it, I wanted to keep it in theme with the original building that we have because they're all part of the same area. However, in order to make the second structure a little bit more unique on its own, I basically just inversed the roof. So we have a deep slate brick trim with dark oak in the middle, and I really like how this one actually turned out. So the build itself is a little bit smaller. I think it's like a 5x7 going by the blocks on the bottom, so naturally it's going to be shorter, which I like because it's a height difference between the two, and I really like how obviously similar these two buildings are, but since there is enough difference in height and the roof design, I think that they're different enough that they complement each other really well rather than just looking identical. And I changed up minor differences even in the windows, like here I included shutters, whereas on this build I just included the upside down stairs. So moving on to the last structure, it's basically just a simple little garden shed. So when I was building this out, I was kind of struggling because I had two pretty big structures next to each other, and I thought a third would just kind of be too much for this area. Like it would just end up looking way too cluttered. However, I still needed something to cover up this villager area, and I also liked the L shape that I had going on here, so I didn't want to completely eliminate it and put it underground. So Block basically suggested going with a little garden shed like this to kind of offset the height of these two, and I really love that idea and the way that it turned out. I think that it really helps balance out these two larger structures really well, and it encloses the space like I wanted it to, creating a little bit of like a courtyard area. So from there I had the challenge of covering up those beds and the rails on this side, and basically I just came up with the idea of building out a little bit of a brick wall with iron bars, kind of making it look like a little bit of a garden wall that attaches all of these structures together. And I'm really happy with the solution that I came up with, especially using the red brick. I really love the way that it pairs with all of the block colors on all of these builds. I think they complement each other really nicely. And then from there I just built out a nice little like overgrown circular garden to cover up this area, just added some wheat, some water, a bunch of flowers, and I think it looks really nice. So yeah, that is pretty much the rundown of this build. build. This was such a fun challenge and I had a ton of fun making it. And now, most importantly, we have a really important tool for us to use going forward. So with that, I think that is going to be it for today's episode. Let me know what you think of the build in the comments. I hope you all enjoyed it. And with that, I will see you all in the next episode. Bye!